Most people think they could never give up coffee, and I used to be one of them. But after switching to high-fat carnivore and cutting out coffee, my energy, my sleep, and even my mood has changed completely. Today, I'm going to share exactly why I quit, what happened, and why I don't miss coffee at all. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Kendall from Carnivore with Kendall. Back in May, I set myself a challenge for a month to go caffeine-free and sugar-free, which I documented on my channel. You can see it below. I'll attach the video. I then realized after going caffeine-free for that month that I was actually, I did it really more just to see if I could do it for a month, but I realized I was quite addicted to it. I couldn't wait to get back and have that coffee. So my June-July challenge, which was 4 weeks of high-fat carnivore and caffeine-free, I realized I really wanted to kick the habit of the caffeine. So that's what I've done, and I'm pleased to say I'm now 3 months caffeine-free. So super excited to share that with you. You've got all my tips, photos, what I did, how I went about it, all in those videos. So I broke it down, the 4 weeks of going caffeine-free and high-fat carnivore are broken down into 3 videos. Week 1, week 2 and 3, and week 4. So I'll attach all those below, and you can get all my tips and tricks of how I did it and how it went below. So why did I quit caffeine or coffee? Most people think of coffee as just an everyday drink that they have. The more research I did, the more study I did, and the more I listened to my body, I really felt like this was not for me. And it's a drug. It's a stimulant. It's not good for your body. There's no benefits at all. As much as people think it's an antioxidant and it's all these things, it's really not. So they were the things that I thought, this is as bad as having alcohol or drugs. I mean, we would never allow our kids to just say, oh, just have a little bit of the drugs, just have a little bit of, the cocaine. It's okay because you're only having it at the party, It's the same. It's not good for you. And main ones for me were just not feeling good. I get anxious when I have coffee, so that was not great. It adds to my anxiety, which doesn't work for me. The dehydration factor, you're dehydrated, your skin looks dry, you feel dehydrated, your body looks shriveled up and old. The other ones where it's a diuretic, so that goes along with the hydration factor. It stops you from feeling naturally hungry. It suppresses your appetite, so you lose all your hunger signals, and you lose your listening to your body, and your body is not in balance anymore. So at 50 years of age, I want to feel good, I want to feel amazing, and I want to feel my best version of me. And that's my goal, and then to help other people do the same. So I was like, I have to cut this out. It is addictive, that's the other one, and I was addicted, especially when things were a little bit tough. There was a couple of times where we had some stressful things happening in our lives, and I was addicted to that coffee. I was like, gotta go get a coffee, I'd find any excuse to go and get a coffee. I'd, walk somewhere and get a coffee, or I'd make sure I drove. I'd have coffee at home. It was ridiculous, and I felt like I was just buzzing on all this fake energy. It was awful. So your energy is not your own energy. It's this sort of, I call it fake energy from coffee to give you that buzz, and then you get the massive crashes when you come down. And one of the other reasons why I quit, one of the biggest reasons, was that it affects us as carnivores because you're spiking your blood sugar, especially when you're putting in milk. You're going to spike your blood sugar. Caffeine is so bad for that. So you're never going to be in ketosis. You're never going to be burning fat as fuel. And it also wrecks a lot of women's cycles as well. It affects your hormones. It affects so much of the body. And I just went, this is crazy. Why am I doing this to myself? It's stupid. And I cut it out. So you've got to work out, what does it mean to you, and why. You've got to have a really good why you want to cut it out. Do you really want to have your body working optimally and be feeling amazing, and your brain be working well and just feeling your best? Your choice. So what happened after I quit? So I was pretty lucky because I'd done the April-May without coffee and I did the sugar-free challenge. I was already a little bit prepared. I wasn't going from crazy, having coffees every day to having none. So usually when you cut out the coffee, if you're a big coffee drinker, you do get some headaches. I might have got one here and there, but I didn't have a really, really bad time with the headaches. My energy became more consistent. It only takes about a week, maybe 2 if you're a big coffee drinker, to get through that awful part where you have the energy dips and the headaches and the crashes because you're not having that stimulant and that, that fake energy. So after about a week, I was feeling incredible. I felt tired and ready to go to sleep, which is a really big one, and feeling like you've had a proper sleep, because when you have coffee, as you'll see in the other videos, it basically blocks your adenosine receptors in the brain, so it stops you from feeling tired, and that's terrible because you're never really having a proper sleep. So you're just wired and overtired all the time. So I loved being able to get tired and feel tired and have a beautiful restful sleep, because obviously our sleep is what heals our body, heals our brain, makes us be able to focus better. So all that goes around sleep. So feeling more energy, no brain fog, feeling clarity, all that is a fantastic thing to feel. Less anxiety, no anxiety from having the coffee, feeling hydrated. My skin's nice and glowy. It's not dry and dehydrated. My workouts are great. It's not affecting my workouts. And I just feel fantastic. So more energy, better sleep, being able to get tired properly, and not suppressing my appetite. Feeling hungry when I'm hungry, so I know that I'm actually hungry, and it's not just the coffee, the fake energy, it's the real energy. So going high-fat carnivore at the same time as going caffeine-free or coffee-free really made it a little bit easier as well. Obviously, when you're having high fat, we need a certain amount of fat for our bodies to function, to balance our hormones, to create hormones. Our body is, as a carnivore, we need fat for fuel. That is our main macro that should be our most important, is fat and then protein. So having that fat helped me feel full. It helped me make sure my body had the fuel that it needed, and I wasn't relying on the coffee for the fake energy, feeling. And also I was eating well and feeling like I wanted to eat. My hunger cues were there. And that made a big difference too, because then I know I'm eating when I'm really hungry, and I felt satiated and full when I was full. So by giving up the coffee, everything will rebalance your hormones, especially for women with their cycles. The caffeine's really bad for that. So getting rid of that will balance out the hormones. It'll get that hunger hormone, the ghrelin and the leptin back into balance, so that you know when you're hungry and you know when you're full again, which is really important. And the fat is what's fueling our body. So being able to be in ketosis, you're not having those energy spikes from the milk or anything else from the caffeine. You'll be able to be hopefully in ketosis and burning fat for fuel. So you're getting your energy from the fat and having a high fat carnivore diet. The best way to go. So my top tips for people wanting to give up coffee. So the first one is make sure you stay super hydrated. So coffee is a diuretic, it naturally dehydrates you. So you want to be making sure you're having plenty of water and keeping your salt intake up, making sure your electrolytes are balanced. So you want to make sure you're drinking. And the other thing is try and replace when you have a coffee with another beverage. So my favorites in the morning, post-workout, I do half a cup of boiling water, 2 egg yolks, and 2 tablespoons of really good quality butter, and I whiz it up and I make it like a little fatty latte. So instead of having coffee, that's my go-to drink in the morning. So it'll help to have something to replace it with. And it's getting your fat in and your protein in there in one, so it's fantastic. The other drinks you can have, which are great too, is bone broth. It's great if you can make your own bone broth from when you're slow cooking some beautiful meats. It's got the natural fat and the collagen in there, so good for your skin as well. So you get a little bit of protein and you get your fats in there. Have that as a drink as well. The other ones that I like are just plain old water. I often have a lemon water, warm water and lemon in the morning, first thing in the morning before I do anything else. I've sometimes add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, just a tiny bit in there, which helps as well, just for digestion. So that's another one. Sparkling water or mineral water, you know, just plain. I don't have any, you know, flavored in there, obviously, and no sweeteners. What I do sometimes do is do a squirt of lime juice or lemon in there and have a beautiful sparkling water. Often that's my sort of evening, afternoon, nighttime drink. And that's another way you can hydrate yourself. The other one is when you're out having, where you normally would have had a coffee, or you're socializing, or you're having people to your house. What I do now is I don't drink any tea, because I used to drink a lot of green tea, which is highly caffeinated, and most teas are caffeinated and they have tannins, which can also affect your hormones and your thyroid in particular. So I cut out all my teas as well. Took me a few years to do this. So I'm now carnivore for 2 years. I'm now making all these changes. So I highly recommend, if you're going to have anything, I do a lemongrass and ginger tea. So when I go out, most places will have that. I'll have a lemongrass and ginger tea, and I have some tea bags here, which are lemongrass and ginger. There's no caffeine, and I can have that when someone comes over and I make them coffee. So that's another way around it too. So you'll find all that will help. Having your high fat foods, having your enough 200 grams of fat a day generally is going to help you feel fuller for longer, and you won't have those cravings. If you're thinking about quitting coffee, or maybe you're carnivore and you just want to have more stable energy, I really highly recommend quitting coffee. It's not as scary as what it seems, and I don't miss it at all, and you might not miss it either. If what I've said today has helped you, please subscribe. I'll be sharing weekly videos about high-fat carnivore, especially from a women's perspective. And comment below, have you ever given up coffee, or is it a hard no for you? Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye-bye.